Okay, welcome everybody. Calling the meeting to order. This is a joint board meeting between the town and villages of Canton. It is Thursday, May 4th. The first item on the agenda is old business, 64 Main Street. So the building committee met, and then there was a subcommittee, Anna and John. So would you like to report out on findings of the subcommittee of 64 Main Street and what we discussed? John?
I don't think we really talked about who would talk. I had it.
Well, we had Stephen Smith there, Jim was there, and Tim Bacon. We asked them about the parking lot. An inexpensive way to surface it, temporary surface out there. And they did some measurements and some calculations, and they thought it'd be about $10,000. Then we went inside the old McDonald's building, we looked around, we had the two of them look around, see if there's anything DPW or town highway they want. The answer was no. We then asked them if they thought that, what their thoughts were on taking the building down and disposing of it. And neither one of them thought it was something that they would want to or even could do, that we would have to find some sort of professional to come in and take care of that sort. So, and that's pretty much all it really was.
So we put this on the agenda because we need the board to discuss the next step. Because we all know that we went through that municipal building study and we want to keep the progress going. So we're gonna open it up. Jim, you were there. Anything that you would like to add?
No.
Okay.
No, we gotta stabilize that parking lot. I think that's an important thing. And then look at how we're gonna remove the building. There's a few things in there that, I think each department should look at, just to make sure there's nothing there they could use. And then, I think Rick would like a couple of doors up, stalls in the bathroom, maybe a sink, but other than that, not much. I think the best thing to do is try to work with finding someone to take it down, recycle what can be recycled, and landfill what can be landfill. Just have to decide what the place will look like after. Then, how we'll move forward into the future. My mind is quite a ways away from anything over there, so. But preserve our options and our parking. I do think when they do the parking, they have to make more handicap spaces available right there. Figure out the way to accommodate that. Having just one out front's not.
Must be standard.
For
X number of
you can ask
spaces,
our-
there's gotta be X number of
Yeah.
handicap.
Yeah.
I think it must be standard.
And then, am I correct in understanding that our highway departments are just maxed out and it would be best to contract that out and possibly the county? Is that discussed?
Well, paving would be certainly a county function anyways. They have the pavers to do it. They work with us all the time.
Yeah, that was discussed.
Yeah, that was a better option.
I would think
Yeah,
whatever,
we have paper as well.
I would think whatever Tim's schedule is with the county, that when they're here in the village, that
Right.
they just
Do it that way.
That was the,
put the town on notice, go draw blacktop, and we should be able to do that easily.
Because they pay for a lot of municipalities in the
They
area.
pay for us.
So when they pay for us, and they're straight out, and their schedule is very tight. So that makes the most sense, is when they're here in the village doing their work, be ready to knock that out. Yeah.
Did they, how were they, Tim and Steve, about prepping it? Any prep work that's gotta be done, they're okay with that? which won't be very much.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to decide, because if you pave that now.
Yeah, right.
That curb up to the sidewalk, coming down the sidewalk, all of a sudden it's coming down, like that.
Yeah.
I mean, make it a little easier for vehicle to actually go up onto. I don't know, I think you need to decide whether material needs to be taken out there as part of the crack.
Yeah.
Get it done.
Okay.
But I think the base, with the exception of a couple holes that got, base should be.
That got to be filled in with pressure drum.
Well, I mean, there's both have material available that would pack that, real well. They got
There could be that, or there could be no spots.
up and down.
Yeah.
And I think it's given that whatever we do, we're not putting in a permanent park.
No,
So instead of dig down to put a temporary barrier between parking lot and the house. For temporary thing. How hard it is to dig down. So that's up to them.
I didn't hear what you were saying.
I said, I didn't know how much work was involved in digging down. I just wondered if maybe possibly just a temporary, something there, blockade in front of between McDonald's and the parking lot. So if we have this much, there's something on the curb going all the way across the sidewalk, all the way across. Like an orange barricade or something like that that they use on the side of roads or something. But I don't know the work. I don't know. So
Again, I think that's getting the building out of there, getting the parking lot in there, then we'll see, okay, parking lot's in. Now, should we have a barricade there? And what's gonna happen after that? Who knows? Might put a pickleball court right there.
you're gonna be the first one.
There we go, would be fine.
The demand is high. The demand is high.
Or
Front and center.
maybe a
A lot of audience.
right splash or,
Splash pad.
Splash pad.
but yeah, whatever.
We have to be careful, whatever we do over there, what we call it.
Yeah.
Goes in the wrong direction, you'll never do anything.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is everybody's supportive of us moving forward for a new parking lot and going out to get some bids. Yes. For the McDonald's and, yeah. Okay, the mayor and I were talking about that, what that would look like in timeline today, so, all right, so,
Do we have any sense of what the cost of raising that's gonna be?
no, that's why we,
Well,
well,
right, but so we
Yeah.
have a sense of what it is.
a way station.
Right.
Wasn't one of the Gibsons over there taking a peek at it one point? As in Jim or Tim? I'm not sure.
Tim, I heard Tim say, the city one that had Jim in there looking at something.
Yeah, I don't.
To see whether it's something that he would be able to do or not. But I think it's, I believe you're just gonna have to get some
Just
bid,
go to bed.
There wasn't
Get
a
some-
number.
get some bid, no, that was,
There wasn't
put
a
it
number.
out in bid and see what come up with.
We heard that story, but there was,
But
and what you were just hearing, so.
somebody's gonna have to decide the scope of work, like I said, if you're gonna try to recycle whatever.
Yeah.
If all electrical's gotta be pulled and all that.
Well, I think that's gonna be on whoever gets it. They wanna take the time and roll stainless in there and try to get something out of it, they can. That would be up to the contract. Yeah,
Oh, recycle the stainless.
Oh,
yeah, that'd be up to the contract.
yeah,
Somebody might have use for it.
there's not a lot in there, so.
There's not a ton there, but
Is that
So that's not gonna be mandated, or-
no,
okay, so, because
I don't see that it would be.
because I wouldn't be surprised if the contractor looks at it. And if we want it done as quickly and as cheaply as possible. They say that if you want, I don't have to worry about pulling a lot of stuff out of here and doing a lot of recycling. I think it's gonna be a lot cheaper.
Some of those guys will do that on their own.
Right.
All right, so is everybody good? Mayor and I will work on putting something together, and does the board want to look at that before we send it out to construction companies? Okay. So it's been out there, Mr. Mayor. All right, good. Well, thank you to the committee.
I'm good.
Yeah,
Just put it out.
I just put it out.
No.
All right, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I think we.
You trust for us to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think,
All right.
I don't need to say it, I just, if you could get it out to bid, that would be great.
And then we look at this.
Right,
That's what I
that
thought.
we'd
That's what I
like to
thought.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we already have it written up. No, we don't. All right, good. Well, thank you, everybody, for all that time and work, and thanks to the highway individuals. All right, the next item is shared service agreements. Woo. Okay. The Shared Services Committee has met. The Recreation Committee has met, and I think we're there. Everybody's got a copy, so what I'll do is I'll just name them off, and then, you know, if we want to do individual votes, well, we have to anyways, right? Or if there's any questions. So the shared services agreements, how many years have we been doing this?
Me?
For a while.
This is my first one.
This is Barb's
I'm the
first.
wrong person to ask.
And thanks to Barb Beekman for making the necessary changes. You know, it was Carol before, but Barb, thank you. This is a lot. So we have an intermunicipal agreement between the town and village for the office of assessor. And basically, the village pays 1/3 of the costs of the program. We have Canton Town Court intermunicipal agreement where there's $1,000 payment from the village to the town for those services. We have the Office of Economic Development Services, and the town and village each paid $20,000 towards that. It is the village department. So Canton Town Court is a town department, Office of Assessor is town, Economic Development is village, the historian's office, that is a town office. Expenses are shared equally between the town and village. The municipal building and grounds. The village does the majority of the work, and then we split the costs. We also, so those are pretty much done through the shared services. There was one other one that we did not bring forward, and that's the town constable peace officer. So that's an intermunicipal agreement. That structure is going to be changing pretty soon, so we didn't even address that one. But drum roll, the biggest one that has gotten done. That has taken, I don't know, 20 years to get done, is a recreation intermunicipal agreement. And, you know, I commend the Recreation Committee for all the work we did. I understand there was a lot of discussions. We appreciate Sally's input with this as well. And so we're there. The language is there of the structure and budgeting and the costs. You know, we're going to keep the invoicing the same for this year. But in the calendar year of 2024, the structure is going to change a little bit as far as the payments. And that's in alignment with when the town sales tax comes in. We usually pay it May and December, but because of the sales tax and the village budget structure, we're changing that to July. So that is the recommendation of the Recreation Committee. And like I said, I think this has been 20 years in the making. But this committee got it done. And so, any questions on any of these?
Just a question on the store, because that's the only one that has an appointment. So we make the appointment in January, correct? When's the village met there?
When we do our annual meeting in December. In December.
So it is, so it coincides with us.
Pretty much,
Okay.
you know, within a month.
Any other questions or comments on all of these?
I'm saying with the recreation committee, we met several times, numerous, numerous times. And we've got a couple of new eyes on this, which I think is wonderful. And John, your input and history, I think is wonderful too. And I'm so pleased. I've been on this committee for a long time. I'm gonna get here, and I really do appreciate it. It is a team. And it's a dynamic one.
And the recreation program is a village program, and then we invest as well. So, and then just as a sidebar, Jim, is the shed, I know Beth was, is the shed done for the beach?
What's that?
Is the shed done for the beach?
Which,
The lifeguard shed.
He's cutting the
The
lumber.
lifeguard shed.
He's
the
falling,
lifeguard. Oh, here.
he's felling the trees.
that was very, very important.
Oh, okay, all right.
Did you cut the trees down?
Trees cut.
Okay.
Either side.
And he's in one piece.
And he, yes, that's.
So that's another project that was in the making that took time. So, okay.
So we're moving in a great direction. This is the, I think, one of the more dynamic shared services agreements, and we're working as a team to have an internal document in terms of timelines and stuff, so that there's a history there for people in the future to best understand what the history has been and why it's.
The only thing I'll say about the shed is I made a mistake, but Warren talked to Megan about that. And Megan's getting the shed, it's a she shed. That ended up costing me a little bit more.
The lifeguards will really appreciate it, I'm sure.
Well, I'm glad you spoke up before I did.
Maybe we should put your portrait in there so they know.
Oh,
This
the
lovely-
Jim Smith she shed.
No.
There you go.
But then you should get some money for it.
The JSS.
No,
You started
no.
You would like to be enough.
Well, the canoe races are out at the beach. Okay, I'm diverting. Okay, so I believe what we need to do is take individual votes. So I need a motion to approve all of these shared services agreements with the village. Moved by John, is there a second? Second by Bob Ciannamore. Any further discussion, questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, your turn.
Motion from village board to approve these. Second. I only have one question. We don't have to go back at these every year. These are designed so that they're enforced every year.
I think there's language in there that.
Unless we
look at
choose
in-
to look at,
I mean, you don't have to revise them.
right.
But you do have to sign
Sign
it
it
every
if you want.
I didn't, okay, I thought we would got asked to sign it if we would.
I mean, I think every single one of them, so. That's just the nature.
Yeah,
But I
I think it's in the annual. So now that we got them all indefinite, that's good.
It says this agreement shall remain in full force and effect until or unless is modified or canceled by mutual agreement between the town and the
Oh,
village.
well, you know that. So you know.
Okay, because that's the way we had designed most of these in the past. Okay. Further discussion? In favor? Aye. Any opposed?
And you got the first and second? All right, whew, there's another accomplishment. All right, let's go to accomplishment number 3. All right, the website. As everybody knows, the Communication and Technologies Committee has been researching websites. And so I'm gonna actually open it up to the committee and talk to us about it. Who'd like to start? Process might be helpful. And you have also met many times on this.
We did meet many times on this. We met with, well, we researched different companies, right, that do specifically municipal work. And We met with 3, we reached out to 4. One was not accepting new clients, so they removed themselves from our consideration in that way. We met with 3, 2 of them at least twice. So, we looked at all sorts of criteria. We were concerned with the ease of, updates and such for our staff. We were concerned with accessibility for the public and as well as features for engaging the public that we might like to use, which we'll talk about in a second. As well as, I think, ongoing training and support being some of the biggest criteria. The recommendation that you have before you is for a website company called Revise. It is, and what you see is not only the description of the phases for the design of the website and the moving from, pages from our current website to the new one. But you also get a sense for some of the additional options that we feel would be useful. So you see, for example, one of the things our clerks spend a lot of time doing is anytime, new agendas are up or minutes are up, there's lists of people that need to be sent them. The alert center email options allow for that to all be automated. It allows for people to sign up and basically say, like, we want this, and then they receive those things. Fillable forms. So, interestingly enough, our website has had the capability of having fillable forms on the website, but you still had to print them out and bring them in. So, this would be a way that people could fill the form and submit them online. There are a couple of uses that, I think that would be useful now, and then sort of, I guess, the possibilities are endless there in terms of how that could be used. Facility reservation system, automate some of that. And the development of an internal website as well, where that would be staff board access only for things like HR policies. So you have 2 agreements or 2 sales agreements. That is because the price changes depending on the number of pages we import from the old website to the new website. And that might be just a tiny bit of a moving target, because until we get in there and we start the process, we're not going to know how many of the pages we really need to move. But based on their, sort of expertise, this, it seems like we are probably, what was the number? It was, now I'm missing the spot where they say
200 pages.
the first one is 200 and the next one I think is 6. So that's the price difference, if I'm right on that. But we would expect it to be somewhere in between there.
After 200, it's a per page cost.
Right. So we're really pleased with the editing, the content management system itself. When you want to edit this website, you go to the page that you want to edit, you click the thing that you want to edit and you edit it, rather than having to go into some back end that looks completely different than the website itself and have to know some amount of code in order to do the work. So we think it's much more user friendly. They have 24-hour website monitoring. They have very good support systems where, we will be able to get help pretty immediately for critical issues, and everything else within 24 hours, which is improved. Let's see, what else did I want? Folks, what am I missing? Heidi?
One of the options was the initial cost to put it up. We had the ability to spread that out over 5 years.
Thank you.
Instead of paying all upfront, spread over 5 years. Actually, after the spread out over those 5 years, our cost would be $159 a month.
And we're currently paying $125.
You're right. So it's only $35, $34 a month more after we pay the initial 5 years.
After the 5 years.
Yep, right.
Right. And the other beauty of it is, with a 5-year plan, there are add-ons that we want. And if you take the 5-year option, normally annually, those add-ons, they cost more each year.
Right.
But with the 5-year, you're locked in. You're not subject to those increases.
You're locked into the year one.
Yep,
You get a better deal.
you get a better deal.
That's awesome. So is another thing that is interesting is that along with this, a plan, year 4, they do, what comes like a refresh and a review.
Make those changes for no extra cost.
Yep.
Some really handy, so.
So am I reading this right? It says revised would spread out the total first year cost over 5 years.
Right, that first year, that's a setup. That's a setup.
That's the setup.
Right.
Okay.
And it's that setup cost that you lock it in for the additional for those 5 years.
Yeah. And then there's add-ons you can do that, right, that we could, that price for the add-on generally goes up, you know, like, but it'll be locked in for us as soon as we sign up.
So the email alerts, that sort of thing.
Things that we anticipate we might want, but we're ready to do right now.
So it's a 5-year commitment? Is that what we're talking? And is there any language that say something should happen and we're not satisfied? Is there language in here that?
Well, you're gonna owe them the money.
Right.
The 5-year commitment is that you are paying for it over 5 years. So if you wanted to pay it off, do something else, I'm sure you could.
So may I ask one question? So the 5 years, if I'm reading it correctly, is gonna be 29,300 over the 5, that's the total cost over the 5 years. Is that number only, or is it to 29,300 plus either the 14 or the 17?
Depending on the number of pages, years 1 through 5, the annual cost is going to be between 5,870 or 6,470. I'm not sure where the number you were getting at.
It's right there.
Which,
So on the very first page, the pricing here says for in your descriptions, 17,150.
yeah,
And then below, there's another number of, 5870 or 6470, whichever,
right.
right? So is the 17,159 included as part of that 64, the 58?
Yeah, so the,
Okay, all right,
yes.
that's all.
Yeah, so what they're doing is they're taking the cost for building it plus 5 years worth of annual payments and rolling it out across 5
That
years.
makes sense. So it's the setup and delivery.
Correct.
basically, for the same price.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, no, it's a good.
They will build one of us.
We didn't ask that, but that would be the assumption, I think, yeah.
Because the
They're gonna
village
build
is.
gym.
Yes, that is a gym. Because the village has been the lead on all the payments and then invoices the town for 50%. So that was a question I had a fighting with the committee. You guys had to determine that. Because in here, I think it does say something about the town clerk.
That's because I was the first one that contacted with them, so that, I'm just the initial person,
Oh,
so
you
that's why
supposed
I'm
to-
contacting.
I just been the contact.
That will,
Okay, because we have to send
She's
it.
ready to resign that.
Yeah. So is the village in agreement for continuing to take on the lead of this?
But that was my question, who's doing it? I don't care if we do it, that's fine.
Yeah, I think
We can,
we're fine,
we
yeah.
can maintain the way we've been doing it, sure, but
Okay,
that question needs to be answered.
Nothing in there, this is the agreement. Shared
So I'm not worried about it, not worried about it.
no, I appreciate it, the village taking it on and then just billing us now.
Fine.
That's fine, because the check, in order to lock this in, you'll need to send a check. You'll need to sign that and send it back. What was the other, I had one other question. So the current provider that we have now, so what is like the timeline? Do they know that we're doing this? And like, so I guess I'm thinking, how long is this gonna take? And are we gonna be down a website to rebuild the website? Like, does anybody contact with our current provider?
We have not contacted our current website provider, and we think that would be appropriate until such time as we've made a decision as to what we were doing. In terms of the timeline,
Because this would be like a redesign.
Oh, I can't hear you.
It's like a full redesign of a website, so it's gonna be a little.
yeah, I think it's gonna take, probably in the 4 to 6 months, right?
4 to 6 is what this is.
To get it up and functioning, just putting in all the information that we have from our website, incorporating it, putting the add-ons that we want. Having to put in what they want on the web, maybe 4 to 6 months. And then we're gonna work with us for the whole 4 to 6 months, you know.
Okay.
You have a department that wants to do something, they're gonna help us in that regard as well.
They will train.
They'll train them to be able to teach whoever wants to, needs to use it.
And during that data transfer, the website will still be operating under what we have.
I believe so,
Yeah, you just keep it until you're ready to convert.
Right,
The cutover day,
Right.
when you
One will be.
go to one,
Right.
yeah, the
it'll
one,
just go to the.
Automatically go to the.
right.
So,
So this might be in the meeting, huh? Like, so I mean, I think that it deserves a phone call to the current provider saying this is what we're looking to do.
Makes sense.
there's been a lot of phone calls to this first provider.
There have been.
I don't think that's something that they deal with all the time.
We're gonna expect, if we're paying them, we're gonna expect that they continue to support us.
That's what I was gonna say.
As much as they do or don't.
Even the new company should actually work with the old company to transition that process.
Right.
That's usually the standard action.
Okay. So I guess the next step is, which one do you want to sign on for? Because the difference in the price is the number of pages, yes?
Yeah, but that has to be-
Well, I mean, the thing is I think we need that to be flexible, because we don't know until they work with us. What they're gonna do is they're gonna go through our current website and they're gonna catalog everything that we have. And one of the things you might not know about the websites, there's a lot of pages out there that are just floating about.
So they're orphan pages.
And so we don't really know what we have. And so what they're gonna do is provide us with a list, and we assume we would be charged, that the Communications and Technology Committee would be charged with working with them to, make those kinds of decisions. So we certainly would plan to keep it at the lower end, but we might need a little flexibility with that.
So does it make sense that you sign the lower end one and then, if it has to be amended, just bring it back?
There's no signing, what these are like a low ball and a high ball range is what it was.
Right, but there's a difference in how much money you have to send them.
Yeah, but we're not,
To get them started, there's a difference, right? The 6470, or what was the other
yeah,
number?
but I don't, we didn't get into that, but I don't think they can charge us until they know how much it is. I mean, it might be just an initial get going fee. I can't believe they're gonna charge us a total amount until they know how many pages we have.
And the low wall one is for what they include, just 200.
Right,
Right, or anything.
it's per page after that, as Bart said earlier.
I think $3.
I mean, we could authorize up to, we know what a minimum is gonna be, and we could authorize up to, and pick a number. And then if you need to have.
Well, that's just it. Which agreement are you gonna sign and send the check? That's the thing.
It is
The agreement.
presented as two.
It is
presented as two
That's
agreements.
what, so they would expect us to
To
sign one
agree
of
to
those.
the higher one and not have to come back and monkey around. Just agree to the higher figure.
I mean, what's the
Hopefully it'll
difference
be a
in
little
it?
Less, but
Yeah.
you can agree to
How
that,
much?
and that way it doesn't have to go back and forth.
Just go with the higher one.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
then it's a happy surprise if it's less,
Yeah,
but you already know what you're
yeah,
up,
up to
up to.
the higher one.
That's what I was thinking, that we could authorize up to.
Okay, so since you're taking the lead, I want to do the vote first, I
I
decide.
don't care. Need a motion to authorize changing to revise at the higher level.
So moved. I'll second.
You get them?
Practice that over and over.
We
did. Well done.
Anything further?
That's teamwork.
All in favor?
Aye.
There you go.
Okay, what he said, is there a motion?
Yes.
A motion to enter into the agreement with the higher one with revised. Motion, Bob Stanmore, is there a second?
Yep.
All right, any further discussion or questions?
Since this is a public meeting, what you want to notify our current provider, ASAP.
Oh, yeah, they'll-
I agree,
Well-
because it's gonna be in. the-
We'll talk with Sally to
I,
do that. Call tomorrow.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, all right.
Wait to vote, so that you don't change it.
I know.
I'm not-
I'm not.
And contact the other two.
Well.
But we'll do the courtesy.
My biggest concern is I like to see them. So,
Yeah, I don't think
It
we
can't
can
be
legally do that.
okay, all right, the next. The next item under new business is, social media policy. All right, so, who'd like to present that? Anna?
Wow.
Because you typed it. Ooh, typed it.
I'm working hard on this one too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this one has been hanging out for a while, folks. We would be really excited to move this. I don't even remember exactly when, but it was a while ago now. The Communications and Technology Committee was, approached by a committee that was wondering about policy for social media. And we went, well, that sounds like a good idea. And so we gathered policies from other locations. I think we went to NACOM and the Association of Towns and got policies. And then we, drafted this. We asked for feedback and comments from department heads across the municipalities. We received those. We answered and or wove those into this policy. The goal is really to give some guidance to, department heads and committees that would use social media, it is increasingly a necessary tool for communicating with the public. To provide guidelines, to provide, a policy for, how to manage that without being, broad and general guidelines, right? Not really trying to micromanage it in any sort of way, but just provide something so that there's some guidance when, there are, issues with comments or when, to make sure that the relationship between a committee or a department page and the municipality is made clear, like, is this, an official page or not, right? To do that kind of work. So that was what we did. That is what you have in front of you.
I just had one question. So the town and village current Facebook. Is that managed through your office, Lee? Like who posts that? Who?
There are several administrators.
Okay.
We
So
have,
I
I
get,
have, I think Jenny and I both have administrative powers. I think Anna does, Carol has in the past.
And Sally. Heidi. I don't know that you use it, but you have it.
Is Tim also?
I think Tim Bacon has it, right? Only a couple, and we should clarify, not everybody's an administrator, but we do have multiple editors.
So if the town wanted to post something, we would give it to Heidi to post. I'm wondering what the clear structure is. So can anybody post on the town village one?
No,
Okay, so I just, because when that was created, I don't recall the structure. And who can post what and who's responsible for it. So I was just curious as to that. So it sounds like you have village people.
If
So-
you want a little bit of a response to that, I believe that it was created many, many years ago by an intern in the economic development office.
Okay,
Who we had to track down to sign administrative rights to, I believe honestly is what had happened.
okay,
So at one time it initiated through the economic development office, but it's now, it's for the municipalities. So I think administration came to us and other board members at that time, and it's continued to add people who can post to it.
I mean, it's wonderful, and I think there's like 4,000 followers or something, and yeah, and that's a big one, so. But if somebody from the town wanted something on it, how do we go about doing that? Giving it to Heidi to post?
I mean, that would.
I'm sorry, Lena?
I don't know who has administrative roles, if you could see it on the page.
Right, I can see who has administrative and editing roles, so if it's somebody that should have editing or administrative they can be added, or if it's just sort of a one-off type situation, then, I mean, I'm not volunteering, Heidi, but,
I mean,
you
that's up
know,
to the town to
that's up to
decide.
the,
How do you
yeah,
want that to
how
be?
do you want,
How do
right?
you want
wanna
that
add
message?
somebody, sounds like we could do that.
Yeah, we can
Carol was
add.
there, we should
Sally
take
can
Carol
add.
off. and-
Carol's not on.
Right.
Yeah. Right, she's been taking.
So that's up to you to decide how. to do
Yeah.
that for them.
Right.
Well, there's language in here about the town and village clerk and their roles.
So
I just
what we
wanted to-
said was that the town and the village clerks need to be administrators on all social media accounts that are connected to the municipalities. That is to prevent exactly the problem that Lee just mentioned. And so they need to be the administrators so they can manage access to the page and the page never goes away.
First extent.
But, you know, department heads, committee people, you know, we can make people editors as,
Two different things.
right, exactly.
So we're talking about Facebook, Twitter,
No,
what are we talking? Just Facebook?
That's all I'm aware of. I don't know of others.
there's only Facebook as far as I know. Although the younger population would appreciate Instagram, but.
So I don't know enough about the whole Twitter and Instagram and all that. I don't tweet.
It's not that thing.
One of the good things though about this new website, Revise, is that everything that we post on Revise will automatically go to Facebook, to the Facebook account. So really, you know,
That's
the website is supposed to be like the main source, but it will prevent us from having to post stuff. So that was another thing that was forgot to mention.
Right.
Yeah,
Was that what we put on the website, like if there's gonna be a board meeting or something, you just go right to the Facebook page. You won't, I don't have to post anything on it, Sally.
That's huge.
Yeah.
well, and not only that, but users using the website, when they go and see something, if they're like, oh, I want to share this on my feed, they also can share it right from the website. So that'll actually grow our traffic.
Yeah.
In a positive ways. One of the things that we stayed in here that we thought was really important was to note that the municipal website is our primary online tool, our primary online presence. So ideally, content, not, you know, content that is substantive content that is posted on social media really should be posted on the website, and then the website shared from the website. In that case, that does need to go through somebody, in order to get on the website. Historically, that's been salad. But, I don't think, the goal here, to be clear, is not to make the clerks the social media managers. In fact, part of this policy was decided, developed decidedly to prevent that happening by default.
Okay. But the current website doesn't connect to any type of social media.
We're lucky if it connects.
Yeah.
Now we put it out there now.
All right, so just one other question.
Good job.
Sorry.
So if there's questions, so say put it on the website and then it's on Facebook, and then a member from the public asks a question on Facebook, whose responsibility is it to answer that? Or, I mean, there is language in here, if it's, if we get slammed through Facebook or whatever, then it's up to the mayor and I to look at that. Facebook police and all, but
I
mean,
work very hard to stay off of Facebook.
But in this policy,
Smart.
Mr. Mayor,
We just need to be aware of the communications that are happening.
so if there's simple questions or whatever, I mean, I think that might happen, so I just want to make sure that we're clear on who's gonna be answering those questions. I guess
So-
we'll just have to play it by ear, because do some municipalities have a Facebook and then they don't have any comment?
Right, and actually, in conference, they just talked about that, the First Amendment rights when it comes to a social media page, like when you post something, like when we post it, we fall under the governmental First Amendment, but any post, no matter who posts them, then fall under the public, they're just different. So they did say that you do have the option to just completely shut off comments, and then you could put, actually, Sally, you could really just talk about this. Like, say we're gonna put an informational thing on Facebook because, I'll just use my office, so free rings clinic. So on that post, if you have any questions, please email the town clerk. So that is an option, if we are worried about comments, because there was a lot of discussion in companies about if you block the comment, if you hide a comment, and if you delete a comment. You have to go through this big list of this big checkbox for you to do that without it coming back. So
So it's simpler to just not have.
Yeah.
you can, and at any point in
Smart to
time,
avoid that.
even if our Facebook does have comments, at any point in time, you can shut it down.
As long as,
But
and
it just
that's,
depends on how you want to use Facebook.
I mean, so I guess we're probably talking about a couple of different things here. This policy is not specifically about only the current Facebook. This would also govern the rec department's Facebook. Given what I see on the, right, yes, exactly. So there's any new committee, social media account, any new department head social media account. And what we said was that, the departments would, be responsible for monitoring the comments, right? The person who's responsible for posting content is also responsible for responding to comments. And we said that, those comments should be factual only. I think the policy is also very clear that like politics does not enter into these. And so this is not the place for debates, right? This is, the building is open, the building is not open. The meeting is canceled, the meeting is not, right? I mean, that's really sort of and in terms of the comments, it would be interesting in light of your conversation, go back to this, but we did sort of go through the list of things that could be, where comments could be hidden for, right? So there are, defamatory personal attacks, profane content language. I mean, I think the setting on Facebook is already set, so it's supposed to automatically hide comments with that.
I think there was a problem with another municipality and the whole Facebook social media issue about, that you couldn't cut people off.
Yeah, so I'm hearing that and related to personal account. But because there was municipal business
discussed or presented, then when you don't like what's being said and you turn it off and you block them, then in essence, you're violating the free speech rights. So, all this discussion we've had here, one, we're only talking about the town and villages social media account. So that is different, but at the same time, I think the idea of trying to limit comment in the first place to then avoid the situation that you just have somebody going off and you just have the impulse might be to stop them. So it's been a while since I did the post policy. So just discuss.
Are we better
Yeah,
off
I don't think
eliminating
it's-
comments entirely from the get-go?
Say that.
Are we better off eliminating comments from the get-go,
I
and not
think,
even allowing it?
because it's so easy for people to.
And that way, we don't have that problem.
You wouldn't feel. Even if you gave them the, as Heidi said, put it in there, the email address you would say.
I mean, well, I mean, maybe that it would be the decision for the municipal, but I certainly would not want to give guidance to any department heads or committees that wanted to use the Facebook. It's an engagement tool, which is not just passive sharing of information. It's an engagement tool, so it is really also about engaging with the community.
Yeah.
If we shut comments off, then it's just another repository of information. We might as well just use the website and not have social media.
So.
If it's a tool meant to provide, I don't know about Facebook, but if it's a tool meant to provide information, I can see, okay, but that's all we're gonna do, is provide information to the public. If a department head or somebody wants, if there's something on there that they want to talk to somebody about, can't they just inform that person? You go to my personal social media, we talk about it all day, but we're not gonna comment about it on, I don't know enough about it.
That's what
To
gets
what he
into
was
the
saying, that's what
problem.
AOT said, is don't mix your personal pages with your governmental
Right.
pages, because that
Right.
opens up
Individuals should
your
talk
page
about
to
their
now
business.
fall under a governmental First Amendment. So
Right.
your personal page has now changed. So as soon as you share anything from our page onto your own personal page, your page now falls under a governmental First Amendment base. That's what was discussed from AOT.
Right.
So that, these are, that was on new.
So that could happen no matter what we decide. whether to
Well,
take
right,
comment or not.
That
could
doesn't have to do
anyway.
with comments.
Right.
Right, exactly.
That's just an education thing
Right,
about the
that's
staff.
gonna happen anyway.
Yeah,
Should you?
So we should keep that, as we decide this, we have to keep that.
yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
4 Facebook accounts, right? Right now, there's the town village, there's a historian, police, and recreation. Right, so like with historian, Linda posts on sustainability with hers. And somebody asks a question, does somebody graduate or what, she sometimes puts things out. Does anybody know who this is in this picture? Right, so that's a back and forth. with
Yeah.
the
And that's,
historian.
that's a helpful tool.
Right,
Yeah.
Right, and I think recreation, I think Megan, it's a little
Yeah.
bit as well.
yeah.
Police is more
And
factual,
One way.
but I don't know if there's any back and forth on that.
Well, we'll see.
yeah,
And then the town and village one is factual.
Right.
But I don't know that there's any comments on,
There are.
there are.
Oh, yeah, there's people comment.
Yeah,
and I've got the camp rec up on right now, and Megan just, notified everybody that we have, new, yeah, the
Yeah,
these things.
Yes.
And she's also, and there were 9 comments there. And there was an appreciation from Camp Minor Hockey, and there were 6 comments there and some shares and 47 likes. I think that kind of interaction is really positive and community building. And I think that, in part of the rec committee, she hasn't ever talked about the social media being ignorance. I think she actually really loves to be able to showcase what kids are doing, what,
Yeah, all the
what things are
positives.
happening. And I think people are really engaged in that. I would hate to see the kind of shut down there, for
There
sure.
have recently been.
I think that's what you were saying, you know, is that we don't want to micromanage Rex, who's the
No.
historian.
Well, and I mean, I guess, you know, about the comments, I mean, people can come here and make comments of any sort, right? I guess I don't see what the harm is in allowing comments. You know,
It's
the
just the
policy
hiding
says
and
don't
deleting and stuff
respond.
that we have to-
It's just what?
It's the deleting and the hiding.
Right.
And that's
Can't
what
do
you
that.
have.
You have to.
Because they'll
Right.
say, well, their post was similar to mine and you kept it on there.
No,
Like those are like this, like you were talking about, that
Right.
situation. You just have to be very mindful of what we, if that.
Right.
I would agree with you, if people came here and said,
A
say,
lot.
needs to type on Facebook, but they do not. Nobody says.
Some of the things that.
That's
Yeah, there are
true.
things that people type on Facebook,
It's
they would
easy to
never,
hide behind it.
It
they
is
would
easy.
never stand up in front of anybody and say, and.
But is that a reflection on what we're doing or, right?
So Heidi, are you saying, so say recreation, they do a lot of great things, and if I wanna share their page to my personal page, so that I can help spread the word, are you saying that mine would become like a governmental thing?
According to AOT. gossip and
On
slander.
that one post.
So then,
You have to be careful, I think you
where
should
this
hold
can be
it.
problematic is that then you get somebody just shouting at you on Facebook and saying lots of things you don't like, and you say, you know what, I'm tired of this person, I'm gonna block them. So then that becomes a free speech. Because
Well, I'll
your,
get you
your
the,
site
I'll get you
has.
the handout.
Well, that's
So-
okay, I trust
So
you.
if I were to share this Canton Rec, this one post, and then there were things that were on there, I can delete that share and then, okay? But delete the
All
entire.
of them, you would delete all the comments and
Yes.
all of
Delete
it.
it.
You could
Just
do
delete
that.
One
You can't
post.
be selective to who
Yep,
you see
the
it.
whole shebang of that
Yes,
post.
you could delete the whole thing, but not
Yeah.
select.
That's why I don't.
That's, I mean.
It's complicated, right?
Yeah,
The whole
sure
social
is.
media thing is complicated, and people are gonna say what they wanna say, but, all right, so what do the boards wanna do with this?
I would move to accept it, because you need some guidelines.
There
You
needs
need
to
some
be a
guidelines, and it's always gonna be a work in progress, because
Right.
technology is constantly expanding
Right.
faster than
We can always
figure it
deal
out.
with the
So you got a
commenting
bunch of
later,
them.
but if it's a problem that
Yeah.
we have to know.
So you.
Okay, I say that to accept it.
Sure.
I'm moving to accept.
Yeah.
You want executive? Sure. Oh, I don't care.
Just get it.
You did.
That's just it.
I just want
I wrote it down, that's the second.
And that's fine with me. Any further discussion on?
Good.
Okay,
I think these are living, breathing documents, and we can.
there you go.
We can choose to change them in the future.
Volley down to your end.
Okay, is there a motion to pass this policy?
So
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion or questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Grunted, but it's a aye.
Your
Jim's enthusiastic about this.
interpretation, the grunt interpretation.
Okay, we have one more item, everybody.
Probably shouldn't stay.
Jim wants to learn how to set up a
Too late, we
Facebook.
already gone through.
So, we have one more item.
Probably should have asked this about an hour ago.
Right now, we don't have public comment though.
Will there be public comments on it?
No,
No,
no.
it was educational to be here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, the next item is
Your
town.
website should say that. Doesn't say, it said there was a joint meeting tonight. It didn't say no public comment.
Yeah,
One of the reasons we're changing our website.
Yeah, just making, agreeing with that point.
well, and you know, it's usually on the agendas as well. Right, yeah, so. But I appreciate your comment, Richard. Yeah, all right, the last item is town revaluation. This item came up during the building committee discussion. I'm not even sure if anyone remembers how it came about, but I know that the village was asking when the town, like, what are we doing for town revaluation? So we talked a little bit about that, and I said, well, let's talk about it at the joint meeting. And perhaps we can answer some questions, or, you know, listen to what your concerns are and go from there.
I had asked, I'm just curious, just because the equalization rate is how many?
Now it's 74.
Or 74. My question really was, does the state impose revale on you if you reach a certain point? You know, if your equalization rate gets low enough, they force you. So they force you to do a lot. I just don't know. I was curious, and then Cindy kind of brought up, you know, why it's a bad time to do a revale, and which I don't disagree. Sort of watched it work.
And I did ask Cindy to join us on, in case anybody had questions directly of her.
Hi, good evening. Hi, I didn't hear the question. It didn't come through. What did she say?
So
Wanna know-
my question was,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Cindy, can you hear us?
Okay, I heard Mary Ann. I can't hear who was sitting next to Anna.
So,
Not coming through. I'm sorry.
can you hear me now? Cindy, can you hear me?
I don't hear her. I'm sorry.
Is the thing on the,
Let's see, let's shut that off.
so Barbara Beekman asked the question, does the state impose towns to do revaluations if the equalization rate has gone down to a certain level?
Okay. Okay, in answer to that question, no. It's up to the towns if they want to do a reval. The state, put mandates, the rules and regulations of how to do it, and it's up to the town boards if they want to do it. I mean, so that's an answer to that question.
So the town board, we've been talking.
Mary
about-
Ann, I can hear you fine. I can't hear her over there. I'm sorry.
No,
If
that's
you could
fine.
just repeat what they said.
I did,
Okay.
so thank you for answering that question. Okay.
Okay, Mr.
So Cindy, if you can mute, and I'm just going to.
Okay,
Does anybody on the town board have any comments about this? Because, every once in a while we talk about it. COVID hit, the market wasn't the time to do it, and, we did bring Cindy back, full-time because we have 3,900 parcels. And the data all needs to be updated. She's plugging away, and the county, has been assisting. They're short-staffed, as well, but Cindy's been out there trying to update all the files and the data.
Well. Our equate is down some for this year. But if you look at the neighboring towns, all the ones that touch us, Kelly 78, at 75, Pierpont 75, Potsdam 74, Lisbon 65, Pierpont 62. So or Russell 62. So, I mean, we're separating the center, those towns that have peak rates, they're very, very similar.
We're not an outlier.
And so and of course, all these school districts, Canton runs into Lisbon, runs into, and so tax rates aren't terrible from town to town because one's at 100, one's at 60. And so, and also, I think because schools do a major project right now, we're looking at a 3% increase. We're talking about, building here, a lot of spending going on. We got, I believe, 70 million worth of community solar that's going to happen within the next year or so. We got a $330 $50 million large scale solar project, I really don't want to revamp at that time. I would prefer that these other major things settle down, see where we're at, see where we are with revenues from it, and then the school's gonna make that. And then the other thing is, you know, like you take, and even the small, the effect that you take, I know one of the things, I hate to agree with her, one of the things that Cindy is looking at is she probably feels that ag lands in Canton are, she might be right. When you look at the amount of land that these solar projects are going to take, one thing that will happen is if she does a revamp, or when she does a revamp, a lot of the ag value exemptions right now have gone away because the state value and the assessor's value have met. So then the exemption goes away. If she does a revamp, those values are going to jump up. Ag values are going to kick back in, but on these solar projects, ag values are going to. So, you know, when she does the increases on those, maybe close to 2,000 acres of ag lands that are going to be in solar, when those values go up, that's what those, you know, because the ag value essentially is gone, because it's not being used for ag purposes. So I personally, I prefer wait until some of these major things play out before we start looking at it. Because, you know, we're in a, I think there's 32 towns, there's 19 of them who have a equalization rate that's higher than us. But of those 19, 5 of them are in the 70s. And, you know, there's 11 that are actually lower. Of course, some of them are lower because there's still 2 towns up there that use fractional assessment. Well, 2 of them are fine and somebody else at that comparison is that 8% are using fractional assessment. And I mean,
You would think Colton would be a caution.
you know, it works for that. When I became supervisor in 1994, we were at fractional assessment.
No,
14%. First thing I did. I don't know how I ever got to do that. Did a rebound and went to 100%.
I remember noticing Nancy Roger
That was Nancy and
and asking her, because I moved where there was, and I'm like, what is this number? And what does this number mean? She goes, oh, we have a formula. And I said, oh, what's that? And she wouldn't tell me. I'm like, so how am I supposed to like read my assessment if you won't even tell me kind of what happened? It was a eye-opening.
Well, I believe in 2018, we were at 100%, and now we're down to 7%.
and a lot of other municipalities were.
Right.
Look at Ogdensburg. You know what Ogdensburg equal rate is for 2023? 100. They're doing revamp. Look at them. Look at what's going on over there. They spent a couple million. State considers their rate of assessment 100%. I don't really get that. That's what it is for 23.
Part of the question that we had when it came to some discussions about bonding calculations, bond limits are based on your assessed value, your assessed taxable value. That's where that would have an effect. Borrow. What that number is, it's a calculation based on taxable assessment. And that's how that calculation, something people have to look at. being careful where you are with your limits.
And it also does affect exemptions.
So,
Can I put some thought into this? Okay, can you hear me? I don't know what's wrong.
Cindy? Sorry.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I guess my concern is, yes, since I've been here since 2019, that yes, the equalization rate has dropped from 99 and now we're at 74. And I did a pre-analysis for next year's roll, minus the sales for March, April, and May and June that's still to come in yet for this pre-analysis, and it already dropped another 7 points. So we're looking at 67 right now for next roll. But I don't know. I'm not saying that's confirmed because I still have some more months to go for the sales. My other point to this is my concern is about the commercial base, and there's almost 1,000 parcels of commercial property out there, and we bought a Potsdam, and Potsdam right now is at 74% equalization rate for this coming roll as well. And I think by them not doing an update and us doing an update, it might be a problem. Because when you look at the commercial base, we usually look at both, we usually look at both towns because that we border each other. And when you look at commercial sales and analysis, sometimes you can't get that analysis in the same town you're in. So you might have to go out to other towns in St. Lawrence County, and Potsdam would be number one for us because we're so close. Another thought to this is, I don't know if even this has come to the table, but maybe thinking about maybe shared services with Potsdam, and maybe if they could do it together with us, might be something to look at. And doing both towns and doing it together and doing a reval together. If we do it together jointly, you would get more money from the state to do the reval. So maybe it's just something I'm throwing out there right now. It's up to you guys, but just that's my biggest concern is the commercial base. And my other problem right now is new construction coming in. And I'm having problems fully valuing the properties at 100. Well, we're not at 100%. So I got a lot of commercial coming out, new construction that came in this roll, and they're looking at homes that were built within the last 10 to 15 years since the last update. And those homes are assessed lower than what they're coming in at. And those homes could fit inside some of these homes that have been on the roll now for the last 10 years. So this is becoming a problem. So I don't know what the answer is. I mean, I'm here, I've been out there, I've been collecting the data. I want to do a good job. I want to make sure I see what's out there and what I value. And because I'm the one that's putting the amount on the new assessment. So if I'm out there and I'm looking at it, then that's my doing. So that's what I have to say.
Okay, I appreciate,
Okay.
I appreciate your feedback, Cindy. There was one other thing though, she just finished the rolls and they've been accepted. And I think we're up did you tell me we're up 7 million in value from last year?
Yeah, we came in at 6.9 million taxable value that has rate on the roll. So
That's pretty good.
yeah.
All right, all right,
Okay.
thank you, Cindy, appreciate it.
Okay,
Any other discussion or questions? Okay, with that being said, I need a motion to adjourn. So moved by John, second? Second by Jim, all in favor, say aye. Aye, carried.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There you go.
All right, 7:16, that's not bad. Thanks, everybody.
Sure. Just wanted to check.
Thanks, everybody on Zoom. Have a good night.
I do.